Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is a Wednesday, our first working day of the week. All of our guests today brought to you by ableauctions.ca. As I rub it in that we had quite a bit of time off during the holidays. Okay, just before we get to Jeff Paterson from Sekeres and Price, Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. Andrew in Walnut Grove, teacher can prepare you for the test. If you're unable to retain the information or fold under pressure, it's on you, not the teacher, in brackets, coach. So Andrew obviously doesn't mind the job Bruce Boudreau is doing.
He's saying the teacher helps you in the test? Or it's on you. Which one's he saying?
Yeah, see, teacher comes up and Dolly was completely flustered.
Yeah. Me and teachers didn't get along. Yeah. I barely got past grade 12.
The fact that you're not getting what Andrew's saying,
I don't get that.
Kind of tells me everything.
No, anyways. All my teachers were good people, though.
Mm-hmm. Jeff Paterson joining us now from Sekeres and Price, Rink-wide podcast. Jeff, Happy New Year. How are you?
I'm good, guys. Happy New Year to you and all your viewers and listeners. It's good to have you back. I tuned in yesterday, and there was nothing there. I was forced to watch the Fireplace channel for 2 hours because you guys weren't around. So
nothing wrong with that channel. I watch it all the time.
Quite frankly, the 2 hours watching the Fireplace channel, way better than the 3 hours spent watching the Canucks last night.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
Thank you.
My gosh. How do you win? 6-2, the Canucks lose to the Islanders. How do you win when you give the puck away 13 times and block just 3 shots, Jeff?
Yeah.
Well, just going back to Ricky and his school years there, you got to get the Canucks cheat sheets. That's how you get through school, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly. So Tyler Myers in his glove maybe needs a little cheat sheet. It's bad these days. Everybody knows that. And you keep thinking at some point that these guys are going to figure it out, but they're 37 games in, and the same mistakes they were making in games 1, 2, 3, and 4 continue to rear their ugly heads. And these are supposed to be elite-level athletes. And I understand Bruce Boudreau's frustration. Ultimately, once the puck drops, he can't be out there. He talked about that. Like, he can't be out there blocking shots. That's got to be on other guys to get invested in the hockey game. But the turnovers, they're egregious, and it just continues to happen, and Tyler Myers is among the chief offenders. Like, I'm still not sure what his best-case scenario was on that play last night. Like, I guess Elias Pettersson was moving up the middle, but it was such a weak attempt to move the puck, and maybe Casey Cizikas gets his stick in there, but Barzal was the wrong guy to give it to, and obviously he made them pay. Ethan Bear was such a bizarre sequence, because if you go back and watch the highlight of that goal, Ethan Bear has the puck at center ice and starts skating back towards his own net. Like, there were so many opportunities, I thought, to bail out and get out of trouble, and he just compounds things, and then ultimately, terrible turnover. And then the Cizikas goal, if you watch that, it's a 2-on-3 at the Canucks blue line. Like, the Canucks are in position. They've got more players in a defensive position than the Islanders had on the attack, and yet Casey Cizikas has all the time in the world down that left wing. So it comes back to a word that gets kicked around an awful lot in this market, structure, and there isn't any. But it's game 37 of the season, and what they are is what they are. What you see is what you get. Like, I can't imagine it's going to get any better for this operation anytime soon.
Jeff, what were they doing under Bruce Boudreau last season that they aren't doing now? They had success then.
They had Thatcher Demko playing out of his mind, especially at this time. Like, I think he was one of the stars of the month in the NHL for December, right after Bruce took over, and that carried over into January. And then, of course, remember January last year was stops and starts with COVID. There were a bunch of games that were postponed. That's when Spencer Martin arrived on the scene, and he delivered some goaltending as well. So they certainly were getting goaltending last year that they are not now. And I think it's safe to say, guys, and this isn't me throwing Spencer Martin under the bus at all. I think he could be a capable backup in the National Hockey League, but we've seen this before. When the backup gets thrust into the limelight, not ready for prime time, and it seems pretty clear that there is now a book. Last year, I think he kind of took some teams by surprise. They didn't know what Spencer Martin was or who he was or what he was all about. that glove hand is getting exposed, and it did again last night on a couple of occasions, and we have seen that when Winnipeg came into town. It was so clear they were trying to go high glove side on Spencer Martin, and he's given up 5 in 4 of his last 6 starts. Like, it's a tough league when that many pucks are getting past your goaltender. I know Thatcher Demko skated yesterday in a tracksuit. I mean, that's progress, but if anybody thinks that he's just around the corner and coming back, forget about it. I still think that we're not likely to see Thatcher Demko between the pipes for the Vancouver Canucks probably till after their week off, which is after the All-Star break. So that means running this gauntlet month of January with the tandem of Spencer Martin and Colin Delia. They're trying their best, but one's a backup and one's in the American Hockey League primarily for a reason, and that is that neither one of them plays at a level that Thatcher Demko is capable of, even though we know that Thatcher Demko got off to a brutal start as well for the Vancouver Canucks. So, it's not like he's going to skate back in and be a savior for this hockey club. Who knows where Demko's game is going to be when he gets back and gets the green light to return to action.
Jeff, the happiest guy in the world, Pat Morris. Bo Horvat just keeps bringing it every game. What is this now? 28 goals on the season. It's going to turn out to be one of the greatest contract year if he keeps going. If he can hit, he's on pace for 62, and I give him credit. There's a lot of adversity. The deflection goals, the power play goals, scoring from the buffer area. He's just doing it all right now. There isn't anything he isn't doing wrong.
Yeah, the hand-eye, it really is impressive. And that deflection last night, at first I kind of thought it was more OEL almost hit Horvat, but on the replay it was so clear that he read that play beautifully, redirects it, gets it going back to the short side, and Sorokin was playing their initial shot there. But we've seen so many deflections. I mean, it's something that Bo Horvat has worked on and worked hard, and he's reaping the rewards now. The bottom would have to fall out, I think, for this guy not to get to 50 goals. It's a question of, in what uniform is he going to get the 50? But, guys, he has 50 goals in his last 77 hockey games when you track back to last year. So the idea of Bo Horvat being a 50-goal scorer prior to this season, I kind of thought 40 would be top end if he picked up where he left off last year. But there's no doubt about it. And it's unbelievable. And what a night last night with Tage Thompson scoring 3, and Ovechkin had 2, and Horvat had 2, McDavid scored, Jason Robertson, all of the big guns around the National Hockey League came out in full force last night, and Bo Horvat is very much belonging in that conversation. So, he remains a remarkable trade chip. The sad part in all of this, though, is that through no fault of his own, he's going to feel the squeeze. I don't think they have much choice, and yet they're going to spend the next 5 years looking for a replacement for Bo Horvat when they've got the Bo Horvat sitting here scoring all these goals for the hockey club. Unfortunately, a night like last night, and Bo was pretty down after the game when we talked to him, scoring 2, sure, it's great for his individual total, but all of these goals for Bo Horvat should mean more to the hockey club and its bottom line, and they haven't. And I think that's the great frustration for him, is he's trying hard, he's doing his part, but ultimately this team just continues to lose more than it wins.
Boy, Matt Barzal is so fun to watch. If he's not one of the nicest skaters in the NHL, he's so fun to watch. He backed up the Canucks blue line on the 1 goal on the rush. 1 goal, 2 assists. I think he had 50 friends and family there last night. The kid just loves playing in Vancouver, Jeff. A pleasure to watch this kid.
Yeah, I love his acceleration, too, and it's just so effortless. He's not even trying, and he gets up to full speed in a hurry. There's Connor McDavid, and then there are a few other guys, and Barzal might be in that next tier. If not, he's not far off. And it just, to me, it's the ease with which he gets around the ice, and you can't afford to give him time and space like they did on that Casey Cizikas goal. I talked about the Canucks having 3 guys back across the blue line, but they all get caught watching Matt Barzal, and he kind of, he's got that skill that he draws defenders in, and sure enough, he cuts to the middle of the ice and then just lays it off to Cizikas on the wing. So, his family and friends, they went down to Climate Pledge, saw him score the 100th goal of his NHL career in his 400th NHL game earlier in the week, but the Islanders lost there. They had a suite there. I know the camera cut to the Barzal family and friends group a couple of times. They looked like they were having fun, and he put on a show. So, absolutely. It's unfortunate that a guy like that only comes through here once a year, but that's the life of the East-West balance in the National Hockey League. But, boy, he made the most of his one trip back home, helping the Islanders with the big win last night.
Of course, Seattle is old stomping grounds. Jeff, again, Happy New Year. Thanks for this. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, let's see if it's a Happy New Year for for the Vancouver Canucks and their fans. But all right, guys, good to be back with you, and all the best.
We all know how it started. Thanks, Jeff. J. Pat from Sakaris and Price.